Why do they? I don't. Yeah, understand why that's like that. Okay.
Okay, so we are live.
Can you put the link in the chat for me
Just
when you're ready?
okay. So Jackie, absolutely, I'm not going to put the link in your chat, um, because there's like a delay that'll mess with your audio.
Nope, no problem. I wasn't gonna watch it. I was just gonna send it.
Yeah. Okay, here it is. But just be aware that there's like a 5-second delay, and it'll like throw your brain off.
What happened? Oh, I'm turning it off.
What's going on? What happened to me?
What happened to Anna?
I'm trying to change what the heck's going on here.
It's going
Okay, there
well
we
so
go.
far.
Okay. Is my logo, does that look correct now?
No, it's okay. I think I'm wondering if James emailed me the background I'm using and I could just forward it.
I'm on Canva and I re-downloaded it.
Okay.
So that's what I'm trying to. Weird. What's this? Nope. That doesn't do anything. Sorry, I should have been doing this while we're already live. I'll leave it alone. I'm not gonna touch it
I
anymore.
feel like the tech on a team of social workers.
I'm so low tech. If VCR was still a thing, I'm all for it.
I can't. It's okay.
Let's try this one maybe. Between 2:45 and 3:15 is a precarious time because my husband has to go pick up the other girl, my other daughter, and then so the boy is left alone. So he might be
Oh,
charging and go, "Mommy, emergency,
it
please."
happens to all of us. Don't worry.
So this is 15 minutes. Hopefully, he's just tied up in his iPad. Hopefully, he can just leave me alone. I'm looking for the background that you're using, Jackie. Where is that? Is that in Canva?
James put it on my computer.
Oh, okay.
I'm sending it to you.
All right.
There you go. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started now. So I'd like to welcome Anna Hoffmarks, our Metro Vancouver pilot site coordinator, and Jackie Tanner, our national manager, both for Canada HomeShare. Welcome.
Thanks.
So we're going to do a basic question and answer period. What we want to do is answer some of the number one questions we get asked about this program. So, Jackie, first off, tell us a little bit about the program itself.
Sure. Like James said, I'm Jackie Tanner, the national manager for the Canada HomeShare expansion. And Canada HomeShare actually started out as Toronto HomeShare back in 2018 as Toronto's senior strategy. So following a successful pilot in Toronto, we grew to become a fully funded program in Toronto. And then in 2021, we received funding to pilot our Toronto HomeShare model of shared housing across Canada. So that's where we are right now. So we're currently launched in Metro Vancouver, Kingston, and Peel region, along with our Toronto site, with more sites to come for the rest of 2021 and into 2022. I can give a little more if you'd like, James.
Well, how about we get a little bit of Anna's background?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna Hoffmarks. I am the Vancouver-based pilot coordinator. My background is in social work, and I've worked with seniors and older adults for the majority of my career, about 15 years. And I also have background in property management and resolving landlord-tenant issues. So I had come with that as well. So that's me. I've joined Canada HomeShare since about August of this year, and excited to be part of the first expansion site.
Perfect. So Anna, let's start with you. What does Canada HomeShare do?
It's fairly self-explanatory in the title. We match post-secondary students who are at least 18 and older to live in the homes of older adults, meaning 55 or older. And together they build companionship. They keep each other safe. They get to know each other. They help each other out. But formally, the student is expected to officially help the older adult between 5 and 7 hours of housework. And in exchange, they get reduced rent the rent is set between $400 and $600 a month, which is, as we know in Vancouver, that is quite below the market rate.
Excellent. So this is an open question and answer period. So if you yourself at home have any questions, just drop it into the chat and we'll make sure to answer each and every question. Jackie, do you want to give a little bit more background about the program?
Sure. So I can tell a little bit about the process on the program. So if you were interested as a home provider or a student to apply for HomeShare, you could visit our website, canadahomeshare.com. There's an application on there for both students and home providers. It takes about 30 minutes to fill out the application. That goes off to the site social worker. They get to know you a little bit through that application, and then they'll invite you to meet them in a virtual interview where they can answer your questions, provide you with a little bit more information about the program. Following that, if you're a home provider, there's an in-person home visit to the home just to make sure that it's safe, everything's okay, and there is a spare bedroom for the student. Once that's finished, the social worker would take you through the process of getting a vulnerable sector police background check in the city where you live. So every city is a little bit different. Once that's back, you would enter the matching pool where your social worker would start to look at the students and the home providers and see who they think would be a good match for who. Once they've identified a preliminary match, they'd be in touch with you and invite you to meet that match in a virtual interview with a social worker in attendance. If that goes well, then a home visit, student can see their room and get to know each other a little bit better, and then we would fill out the home share agreement.
Excellent. All right, so let's start with some questions. So the first question to Anna, this came in by email. I live in an apartment. Can I join HomeShare?
Absolutely. All we ask is that there is a spare bedroom with a door that closes, and that's all we really need. It's just the extra bedroom there. You can live in an apartment, a townhouse, a duplex, a single family home, of course. You can absolutely join. You can join if you rent. You can join if you're a homeowner. We just ask that the students can be added as a resident. Oh, I should also mention, sorry, I should also mention that if your home is close to a school and close to transit, those are what really makes a good home share home as well.
Yeah, could we talk about that? Like what, so we do get some applicants that who may qualify, but they may not be the best fit because they're not close to a transit hub or close to schools. So can you comment a little bit more about that? I know you mentioned it, but kind of the best houses and best homes that have long lasting tenants. Can you describe those?
Yeah, while most of our students don't drive and do take transit, so being close to transit is definitely a positive. We do have students that do have a car, so being close to transit for them, of course, wouldn't be as important. In terms of, as long as someone's drive, we always find there is some sort of post-secondary school nearby. It doesn't have to be a public post-secondary school. It could be a private post-secondary school. So as long as we have, a student who may find that home um, that may work for them, due to the fact that they're willing to drive, that there is a school, within proximity enough, it is workable.
Excellent. So question number 2, again, that came in by email. So Jackie, this one's for you. My husband and I live in Toronto. Can we join, or is it only for single people?
Yeah, absolutely. So as long as the applicant is 55 plus, anybody is welcome to apply to be a home provider in a home share city. So we've got couples, we've got people who are living maybe with an adult child still at home, as long as the number of people in the home doesn't break any bylaws. For example, in Toronto, I believe you can't have 4 unrelated individuals living together. That's my understanding. Yeah, absolutely. Welcome to apply.
All right, Anna. So again, this one for you. Question came in, do I have to make meals for the student?
No, absolutely not. The students are intended to be self-sufficient. They're actually there to assist the home provider, if anything. No, you don't make meals for the student. But having said that, there'd be an occasion where you might want to make a meal together, or make a meal for each other.
So Jackie, this one here, my mom needs assistance with taking her medication and getting out of bed. Can a student help with this?
So students are they're not necessarily nursing PSW students or students with any kind of training in caregiving. Students are not allowed to assist with bathing, feeding, medication assistance, or surveilling of their home providers. So it's more assistance with household tasks. So taking out the garbage, going shopping, cleaning, maybe moving the patio furniture in and out in the spring and fall, things like that. So no caregiving can be expected from this student.
Okay. So what about someone emailed in, I'm not in school as an active student. Can I still apply?
So at this time, in the iteration of the program that we're in, home seekers must be currently enrolled in post-secondary. So you would have to provide, if you were in Metro Vancouver, you would provide Anna with a copy of your enrollment. Students get a 4-month grace period if they're already in the program after they graduate, where they can stay with their home provider for that little 4-month period. But you do have to be a student to be a home seeker at this time.
Okay. So What tasks do students usually complete?
I can take this one. If as Jackie had mentioned, it's mainly tasks around the house. One way, people ask me, well, what quite often home providers don't know what they can ask for. And I try to break it down and say, it's about an hour a day. So something you may want to ask the student to do is just to make sure the kitchen is cleaned and all the dishes are put away at the end of the night, that the floors are swept and mopped at the end of every night. That's easily an hour. Pet care, dog walking, it's a common one when the weather is a little bit yucky out. It's nice to have somebody else do it. I've also suggested that the student be responsible for taking out the trash, pulling out the bins at every once a week and bring it back in. And if the student has a vehicle, taking recyclables and items to the zero waste. So being responsible for that. Another example I can offer is I have a student who's assisting her home provider with decluttering. Her partner passed away a few years ago, and she still has all his belongings. So they're slowly working together, and she's removing the items out of the house. So those are kind of examples of things that I can assist with. Some sort of non-task-based assistance. An example could be tech support. I get that quite a bit, whereas the student provide very basic tech support, setting up and updating iPads and iPhones, how to log on to email, things like that.
From my experience with my caseload in Toronto, I think that a home share kind of a task agreement can be anything that you want it to be. So some people do want help with those physical tasks, but I've also had home providers in the past that want accompaniment. Maybe they like to go to the art gallery. They used to go with their partner. Now the student goes with them. Sharing and making meals together. So meal prep and using those 7 hours to kind of spend time together. I have a home provider and student on my caseload that they read the same book for part of their hours, and they have conversations about it when they have coffee on Sundays. It can be really anything. Yeah, I think gardening as well. In the summer, I've got a student, all she does is the garden. That's her thing. She kind of goes to the store, gets the flowers that the home provider wants, and helps her put in the garden in the summers. So, yeah.
That's a good point, that there's this diversity, like that every single match is unique and kind of tailored to both like the home provider and the student.
Yeah.
Like that's always something that like surprises me, to hear these stories about, again, how unique each situation is, for sure.
And I think if there's any home providers watching today or students, I would say if you're thinking about applying and you think, well, I don't need any help, I'm good. I think, so what I tell my home providers is just get a pad of paper, leave it on the kitchen table. And every time you kind of catch yourself thinking, oh, I wish I had an extra set of hands, someone to help me out, or I wish I didn't have to do that anymore, or I have trouble doing that. I would say write it down. And then that way, when you have a conversation with Anna or one of the social workers, you've kind of got a pretty good idea. Because a lot of times when I would go to a home provider, they kind of they wanted to give back to the student, and they had this extra room and they thought, I don't need anything. But I think the more you think about it, the more that it might be nice to have someone to help out.
Yeah, for sure. So Jackie, how do you decide who lives with who?
Yeah, so that's the social work part of it. Is we use a variety of the things that you fill out in your application and that we learn about you in your interview, and we take that, and a lot of the things are like if we think about what's important, close to the school, obviously, so location is a big thing, allergies, dietary preferences, so a lot of people have put these in their application, so that would narrow the pool down a bit. Common interests, matching of what the student kind of wants to do for tasks and what the home provider is looking for. But I would say a lot of it is just, and I don't know if Anna, you're going to agree with, it's just a kind of gut feeling. When you look into your matching pool, you just kind of, you know them so well that you just get a pretty good sense of who might work well for who.
Absolutely. It really is. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like working like a matchmaker. You read through the profiles, you do the intake interviews with both the provider and the student. You get to know them a little bit, and then in your head you go, oh, this person would work so well with that person. And then what I do, then I would talk to each one of them and say, hey, I have this student or I have this home provider. They're like this is what they're studying, or this is what the home is like. What do you think? So it's kind of interesting, kind of the back and forth. And I do wait for the, oh yeah, that sounds like that could work. Type of an answer from both of them, and then we'll get together and we'll do a virtual kind of a meet and greet. And it's really interesting just to see how the conversation flows between the two. And then quite often I'm just kind of pushed in the back and I'm not even really saying much, and they're just kind of having a fairly organic conversation. And that's when you know you've a good match have been made.
Yeah, it's a good match when you're sitting there feeling like a third wheel is how I feel. Yeah.
So Anna, how do you apply?
Yeah, I think the best way to do it is just to go on our website at www.canadahomeshare.com. Select the city that you are in, and then just fill out the simple application form. And then from there, we'll reach out and we'll do the virtual interview. It's fairly straightforward to start. There is as Jackie had mentioned, a vulnerable sector check that does get conducted. But to start off with, just go on our website and fill in the application form.
Interesting. So I know one question we often get. I don't see you're in town blank. When are you going to be coming? Jackie, can you speak to that?
Yes. So there is a bit of an onboarding process with the new sites. So the sites that are live and currently accepting applications are on the website. So if it's not on the website, that doesn't necessarily mean we're not coming. It just means we're not there yet. So if you are from a town or a city that is not on the website, feel free to email that info@canadahomeshare.com email address that's on the website and inquire. I'm always happy to provide as much information as I have site to site. It is a bit of a process for the expansion.
So if you were a community partner, you would use that info@Canada HomeShare email as well?
Absolutely. Yep. It's me checking it.
Yep. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So that ends all of the email questions. I think that was a great little conversation. Does anyone have any last comments or words? And I'll just keep monitoring in case anyone puts in something on the YouTube live.
Sure.
I think it's worth mentioning that it is a very slow, well thought out, methodical process. We're a group that really crosses our T's and dot our I's. So just want to say that for someone who may be thinking about applying now for a housing placement in January, it is unlikely that we'll move that quick. Not impossible. We do have a pool of students and a pool of home providers kind of ready to go, but when we're looking to make a right match, that can take a bit of time. So I just want to let the viewers out there know that, and to budget the time accordingly.
Sure.
And Jackie, I'll give you the last word.
You should have the last word, James, but I'll say a few things that come up quite frequently in my conversations with home providers and students is feel weird living with a stranger. And I just wanted to say that in my experience, if Anna and I and the other social workers on the team have done our job right, by the time you move in with someone, they won't feel like a stranger anymore. So I know that is a big concern. It's an adjustment. It's a new way to live, but HomeShare is done at your pace. So we will work as quickly as we can or as slowly as you need us to make you feel comfortable with the whole process. So I know that that's sometimes a barrier to applying. What if I apply as a student just going to kind of show up at my house one day? Like, how's that going to go? But it is a step-by-step process and you're in the driver's seat the whole time. I would also say, I think just if you're thinking about applying and you have more questions, reach out. We're all happy to provide more information. If you're in Metro Vancouver, it's Vancouver@CanadaHomeShare.com. Somewhere else, use that info@, and Anna and I are happy to answer your questions and walk you through the process.
Well, thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Anna, for joining us all tonight. If you want more information, www.canadahomeshare.com. We are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram. Again, if you just want to reach out, send an email, info@canadahomeshare.com. We love questions. We'd love to hear if you want Canada HomeShare to come to your city. So feel free to reach out.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll sign off.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Jane.
everyone. Have a good one.
Hi.
Bye.